Thrillbilly here. Got a cool new project that I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace. Got some ideas for it. I'm going to try to work it into my 97 Firebird. Since owning this car, I've been trying to find little things, kind of make it unique and make it my own, put my little personal stamp on the car, and really I haven't done much to it. I left it stock, I keep it clean, drive it on sunny days, and I just generally have fun with the car. One day I was looking through Facebook Marketplace and the idea of trying to find some different type of seats to go in the car kind of struck me. So I started looking around, trying to find, the typical Recaro seats or those other racing style seats, and none of them really looked good to me. And since I don't really race the car, it just really didn't make a lot of sense to put that style of seat in. I did find a set of seats that I thought were really cool, but they were really ratty, trashed, and they were really far away too. And I really didn't have the money at the time or the means to really go pick them up. They would have been really cool. They were a set of Recaro seats out of a 1982 to 83 Trans Am. But these seats were just too far gone for me really to even mess with. So I kept looking. The other day I was perusing through Facebook Marketplace and I actually found a set of Pontiac seats. They're not Recaro, but to the trained eye you'll know exactly where they came from. Let's have a look. Alright, so as you all know, the 97 Pontiac Firebirds come with the standard sport bucket seat. It's not a bad seat. It's pretty comfortable. It's got pretty good side bolsters, and the bottom kind of hugs your legs and your hips and stuff to keep you in the seat as you're throwing the car around in the corners and things. So it's a comfortable seat. It's not terrible. I have driven this car on some road trips, and long-term rides, they do kind of get to you after a while. The material is pretty durable, but it is quite stiff, so it kind of does get to you after a while on a long drive. But short drive stuff, it's pretty comfortable, especially when you're throwing around in corners and things. You're able to kind of keep you pretty locked into the seat. So like I said, I was looking for some different seats for the Firebird, trying to get it some unique touches, make it a little bit different. And this is what I found. The infamous PMD seats that were made famous in the TV show Knight Rider. Once I saw the photo of these seats on Marketplace, I knew exactly what they were, and I immediately contacted the seller and made the arrangements and picked them up. One thing that you'll notice if you're a true connoisseur of the Knight Rider TV show, or even the early 82 through 84 style Trans Ams, is that there's supposed to be a badge here that says PMD. You'll also notice that the upholstery does look a little bit different than a normal Trans Am seat. There's supposed to be these stitched vertical lines going through it, and stitched vertical lines going here, and then a horizontal line here. Believe it or not, these seats actually came out of a 1982 Pontiac Grand Prix. One thing that the PMD seats out of the Trans Ams did not have is a ashtray. So I did some research, and sure enough, the listing said that these were Pontiac seats, and the description said that they probably came out of a Grand Prix. So I researched it, googled 82 Grand Prix, and sure enough, these style of seats were in Grand Prix with the same pattern and things that you see here. They're not technically out of a Trans Am, but they are the same seat, the frame and everything, just the upholstery is just stitched a little bit differently. And to that, I don't really care. I think these are awesome looking seats, and as you can tell, they're awfully dirty. These actually were pulled out of a 60s Barracuda that this guy's dad had bought, and he didn't like them, didn't want them, so he took them out. So these were up for sale. The best part about it is he only listed them for $15. So I got both of these seats for 15 bucks. Let's take a little closer look. The side bolster is a little broken down. You can see that there's a couple holes in it. Not terrible staining going on. They're dirty for sure, but no huge major stains. These are as I picked them up. I haven't done a thing to them yet. I want to kind of chronicle how these look. Passenger seat's got a burn hole in it from a cigarette, and then it looks like it has like an ink pen had leaked out onto the seat. So I'll try to hit that with some carpet cleaner and some fabric cleaner and get this taken care of. So the seats they're dirty. The plastic is still here, albeit kind of deteriorated and kind of looking bad. And for certainly the seat tracks. Oh, here's the backs. They won't sit up very well on their own, so I'm gonna have to. Seat backs are a little bit dirty as well. But all in all, they are in pretty decent shape. The worst part about it is that stain right there on the passenger seat bottom, and then these seat tracks are pretty rusty and awfully shot. So no worries. I hope that these seat tracks will come off and I could just utilize the seat tracks on my Firebird seats that are currently in the car. The goal, I think, here, these I thought were just like a light gray when I first looked at them on Marketplace, but they're actually tan. They're a real sun faded tan. So obviously tan won't work in my medium gray to dark gray interior. So my goal is, since I paid such a cheap amount of money for them, is I'm going to call around locally to see if there's any upholstery shops and to see if I can get these reupholstered in the correct color as my interior, and perhaps maybe even find this actual GM material and see if I can get them to stitch it up in that actual material so they'll blend in perfectly with the interior. But before I invest any of that money into this project, what I want to do is get these cleaned up the absolute best that I can. Try to clean up all the mechanisms and latches and releases and levers and all that kind of stuff. Get them cleaned up, polished up, repainted, cleaned up, greased up, whatever, and see if they'll work in the interior. I've not set my booty in these seats yet, so I really don't even know how comfortable they are, if they are at all. From the looks of them, they kind of look like a recliner in someone's living room as far as the softness of the upholstery and the cushions. So maybe it'll make it for a better driving experience. I'm not sure. To be determined. The side bolsters aren't very deep, and the seat bottoms are awfully pillowy, so they probably don't hold you in the seat as well as the stock 97 seats. So I've got some ideas for that. So here's my thoughts. 1, clean them up the best that I can. Replace the seat tracks, test them out into the car, and just go with that for a little while. 2, if they are comfortable, if they do seat well, then go ahead and try to get them reupholstered into that same material that's already in the 97 Firebird. If I find that they're not terribly comfortable or hold me in the seat very well while I'm driving, I may try to just reupholster the tops and take the seat apart and use these as the tops and swap it out on my seat. They didn't change much in their design over the years as far as their mechanics and everything in these GM cars, especially the 82 through 2002 Pontiac Firebirds Camaros. So I may just try to retain this bottom, which has a nice deep bucket seat style to it, and put the PMD style seat on the top, but I would want to make sure I can get it in this material so that it matches. That would be probably the coolest idea out of it. Let me know what you think. First things first, let's get them cleaned up and try to see if I can swap the seat tracks over, get it installed, and just see how comfortable they are. A couple other notes about reconditioning these seats. I looked online and found the Knight Rider enthusiast websites will sell reproduction seat covers for these style seats. And of course, if you go through those that outlet through the Knight Rider clubs and resources, you can only get it in tan. I did look up year one, and they do have these style of seats covers available. They do have a gray option. Not sure exactly how dark of a gray or light of a gray that it is, but it's expensive. It's pretty expensive. And you have to buy the kit for the upholstery kit for the whole front seats and the back seats as well. So it's the whole thing. And here, obviously, I just need the front seat recovered because my back seats are barely used and they still look really nice, and I really don't want to mess with that if I don't have to. So there are some seat cover reproduction kits that I could potentially buy. Not exactly sure how well it would match my current interior. That's why I'm really anxious to get a hold of our local upholstery shop and see if they can actually get the General Motors material that's in this Firebird that I've seen in Grand Ams, Grand Prix, all the same vintage, so it's pretty common interior fabric. So hopefully I can get the whole thing done. And then obviously while they're at it, see if I can get the material kind of rebuilt down here because it's pretty worn out. Replace any bad foam and then get that done. I'm going to try to research this to see how much of this I can do by myself. But push come to shove, if it's resources are hard to find, then I may just have to resort to going to an upholstery shop. Again, only paying $15 for these. I've got a lot of wiggle room as far as what I feel like I can invest in them without feeling like I'm going upside down. So, also one thing here, these things are notorious for breaking, but it looks like the pattern is the same as what I have on my current seats, that I can use my seatbelt guide off of my current seats and put them in there, so that shouldn't be a problem. So without further ado, let's get it cleaned up and see how well I can make these shine. I've got a shop vac, I've got some brushes, I've got some Resolve carpet cleaner. I'm going to try this first. I'm going to use my son's toothbrush. He's not using it anyway. And then I've got some other cleaning supplies that I use for my car that I'm going to try to scrub these up for getting the stains out. Got a bucket of just hot water and a white cloth, and I'm just going to kind of go over it just kind of gently, just to see if I can get all the loose stuff off first. See if I make any progress there. Try to restore some of the color here. Okay, so it's been about an hour since really scrubbing this and getting it. I'm really pleased with how the carpet cleaner kind of took care of the stains and spots and stuff. There are still some pretty stubborn ones left that I'm gonna have to deal with. the passenger seat's really kind of the worst. It's really kind of made that bigger as I was scrubbing around on it. My wife just kind of gave me an idea of using some baking soda and some vinegar and maybe trying that out and see if that'll get it taken care of. But the rest of the seat cleaned up pretty good. Yeah, so far, you know, other than the bottom of the passenger seat, the seats look like they've cleaned up pretty well. This is just about, you know, an hour and some change worth of scrubbing. This, I guess, velour has a grain, so it kind of, coming up in the camera, kind of weird, but that cleaned up really nice. So again, these are like a light gray. They almost, or a light tan, I mean, but they look kind of like light gray on the camera. I'm going to take this piece off. If I can't fill that hole, which I probably won't be able to, I'm just going to clean this up, spray paint it black again, make it look better. But yeah, this turned out pretty good. Well, there you have it. Vacuumed, spot cleaned, got most of the spots out. A couple of problem areas that are going to be a little bit harder to deal with. I'll jump off that bridge a little bit later. But not bad for $15. A little bit of elbow grease, some cleaner. Was able to get these things cleaned up pretty decently. They're a little rough in some areas, but that can be expected for something that came from 1982. I'm a little worse for wear for me from 1980, so I can relate. Next thing I want to do is kind of clean up the plastic on these. I'm going to take the belt loops out and the plastics off the side and get those cleaned up. That'll be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like switch on your way out and consider subscribing to the channel.